Hello, everybody. Welcome to the For Busy Moms Fitness, Nutrition, Mindset, and Accountability community. Welcome. I know Facebook is loading here. For those of you who do not know me, I'm Morgan Ekovich. I'm the owner of this group, the owner of Get Fit With Me, and the host of the Empower Her Wellness podcast. I'll drop the link to the podcast down below. That is one of our new things that we have incorporated in the last 7 months, I want to say, whatever last September was. So remember, this group used to look a little bit differently. I went live every single week in this group. Instead, we've shifted into releasing a podcast episode every single Thursday. So there was a new podcast episode released today. If you haven't had a chance to go check it out, I'll make sure to drop it in the comments below. But then the first Thursday of every month, we go live here in this Facebook group. Some of you are watching this replay on YouTube later on. In the comments, you will also find a link to our Facebook group. The group is the community aspect. That's where you can connect with one another, connect with me, ask questions, share wins, and that's where we go live here. So if you are tuning in live right now, make sure to drop live in the comments below. Let me know you are there, where you're from. And I do watch the comments. I've got another screen over here. So, as we dive in today, we're going to be talking about spring cleaning and our habits and how we can spring clean our habits. It is March. We got a taste of, at least here in Michigan, we got a taste of some really nice weather earlier this week and the end of last week. I believe it was 2 days ago, we had some 50s, really enjoyed it. Now we have a little bit of snow on the ground today. But as we move into March, we're getting a little bit more excited. We're starting to turn that corner. That funk of January and February is starting to trickle out, which is great. The sun's starting to shine more. What that also means is so many of us started New Year's resolutions in January and then kind of trickled off by the end of January. February, we maybe or maybe not did a reset. And now it's March and we're getting ready for spring break. We're amping up for summer. And I want us to make sure that you've got the right wellness routine and habits in place and kind of just noticing what are you currently doing? What are you not doing anymore? How can we incorporate it? So the month of March is going to be all about focusing on modifying or quitting slash changing a habit that is no longer serving you or growing a habit that you want to increase. For instance, water. If you've been drinking 50 ounces and you know you want to still increase that, we can focus on increasing that. So that is our topic for March. We're going to be recording a few new Empower Her Wellness podcast episodes on habits. I'm reading Badass Habits right now. I read The Power of Habit Stacking a while back. I love habits because it helps me not have to make as many decisions throughout my day. If I am just in the routine and I have the habit of, oh, I just fill the water bottle up as soon as it's done, it's second nature. There's less decisions having to be made throughout the day. I'm less decision fatigue, and I know I'm doing what's right for my body. So, today, before we dive in, I want you to think about your habits today. We're going to do an activity. So, as you are watching or as you are listening, depending on where you're tuning in, either grab out your phone and get that note section pulled up or grab out a real piece of paper because I want you to actually physically do this exercise as I walk you through it. Because I can tell you all about habits, I can tell you how to incorporate them, but this is about creating your wellness habits and figuring out which ones that you want to get rid of, which ones you want to bring in, and things like that. So, when we create habits, I want you to think about that perfect version of yourself, that goal you that you are trying to reach of I'm trying to feel my best, I'm trying to not be on medications, I'm trying to be able to run around with my grandkids. What is that life that you want to create down the road? Because whatever that life looks like, we have to start doing actions now so that we can have that life down the road. So I want you to think about what does that look like? And if you haven't taken time, I want you to take time after today's training to kind of word vomit it out of what does that life look like? What do I want to be doing? What do I not want to be doing? Maybe you're somebody who is a smoker right now and you're like, I really need to quit. I've been telling myself I need to quit. I know it's not good for me. Or maybe you're somebody who's on a lot of medications because we're not exercising or we're not fueling our body in the right way. Or maybe we are eating out a ton. We're eating a lot of fast food and we can tell that we're just lethargic. Our body hurts. We're not moving well. We're a little overweight, things like that. Maybe there's some of those things that I don't like calling them bad habits, but they're habits that are not really serving you and they're not serving that future self of you. So today I want you to think about those habits. We're going to think about our current great habits that we are doing. And then we're also going to talk about some habits in between where we're like, I want to start doing it. I'm a little nervous. Maybe that's the put, maybe this today's training is the push we need. So, first thing I want you to do is grab out that piece of paper, open up that notes section on your phone. Then I want you to make a list. And right here, this is a master list. I want you to make a list of all of those daily habits that are related to nutrition, that are related to stress, exercise, sleep, your mental health, anything related to your health and wellness. I want you to write that down. Maybe it's habits around stretching. Maybe it's habits around strength training. Whatever that looks like, I want you to get as specific as possible. And maybe just to kind of get the ball rolling, think about your morning routine. What do? You get up, you brush your teeth. That's a good health habit. It's a good hygiene habit to brush your teeth in the morning. Do you floss? Put that on the list. Right now, this list is about creating and listing all of the habits that you have built. Because a lot of the times we get caught up in, oh, I can't do more habits. It's too overwhelming. Well, when you look back at this list, you're going to see that you can create habits, you can build habits, and you can make these habits sustainable long term. So that's what this list is doing. As you're creating this list, you are welcome to pause this video at any point because I'm not going to be doing this with you. And I want you to take as much time as you need. So if you need to pause the video right now and complete this first list before moving on to that second list, please do. So now you have that list, you've created it. I want you to pat yourself on the back, acknowledge how great you are at creating habits. Look at all those habits you've created. Look at all those things you're doing. You're drinking water. You are exercising. You are making sure you're eating vegetables. You're making sure you're getting protein at each meal. You're making sure you get outside time. You're making sure that you're going to bed at a reasonable hour. You're brushing your teeth. Like, what are some of those other things that you are doing? Like, acknowledge yourself for that. Number two, I want you to now create a list of things or habits that you do consistently. So, yeah, we're not going to call them things, we're going to call them habits. Make a list of habits that you do consistently that you're just not a fan of anymore. Maybe it's going out every night for dinner. Maybe it's smoking. Maybe it's you're just not exercising anymore. Maybe it's that fast food. Maybe you are drinking more than you used to because it's winter. Like, what are some of those habits you are currently in that you're just like, "Ah, I know they're not great for me because they cause all these other things and they're not actually helping my future self." Make a list of those. And this list that you're making of these, I don't like calling them bad habits, but these habits that you want to change are, it's meant for you to just have an eye opener of, wow, there are things in my life that are not serving me. And am I ready to move on with them? Or do I still, or am I not there yet? So I want you to make that list. Same thing. Pause this video. Once you've made that list, come back to this video because I want you to take your time and not rush through this. And if there's a habit on there that you write and you're just like, I don't know, maybe write a little sentence on why you think that one's not serving you anymore. Why is it not working? So now you've come back and we have that list of these amazing habits you're doing. And then we have the list of habits that, like, we want to change. They're not serving us. We're going to create one more list here before we go into the end of this activity. This third list, I want you to look back at your first list and I want you to notice, is there anywhere that we can just have more growth? For instance, I am stretching once a week and that's a habit you have. Do you want to stretch twice a week? Would you like to build into that? If so, write that on list number 3. Maybe you are drinking 50 ounces of water, but you want to drink 90 ounces. Okay, great. Put that over there in this new list. There are things that we want to do, or there are habits that we want to build on, micro habits. We've got these little ones that we've already built, but how can we grow on them and build on them to allow us to keep pushing ourselves to that version that we want to be? So go through and see if there's any of the current habits you're doing that maybe you can do a little bit more frequently. Can you do them on a daily basis? Can you do them a little bit more can you fine tune them just a little bit more? And if not, that's okay too. But if there is, put those on that list. Pause the video, complete the list, come back, come back. Okay, so now we have 3 lists. We have all the habits that you're crushing and you're doing great. Congrats, pat yourself on the back. You have that second list, which is your list of habits that you just know are not serving you, that you want to make a change. They're probably the ones that have been dragging on a really long time because they are hard. And then you have that third list, and that third list is going to be those ways to increase that first list. So you were drinking 50 ounces, you're going to drink 90 ounces. So we have our 3 lists. Scroll, make sure you can see them all, or pull out your 3 pieces of paper, whatever that looks like for you. And now I want you to look at your last 2 lists. Those habits that you know need to change, but you're afraid to, and those habits that you want to grow and kind of refine a little bit more. For the month of March, you're going to focus on one habit. You're going to focus on either growing a current habit you have, so list 3, or you're going to focus on list 2. You're going to pick one of those habits and we're going to focus on, if it's smoking, how can we kind of decrease the amount? If it's eating out, how can we decrease that amount? If it's things like that. So I want you to pick which category. That second list is going to be the more challenging category, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't choose it. But I want you to pick one habit, one, from either list 2 or list 3. And I want you to put it in the comments because I want to know what it is. Because part of this group is the accountability of, hey, you call your shot. You say you're focusing on this. This is your focus for March. Okay, I'm going to follow up and see how that's going. How can I support you? All of that. That's what this community is for, is not just for me, but for others in the group to support you. So once you've picked that habit that you're going to focus on in March, drop it in the comments below. So perfect. We've talked about our habits. You know what habit you're committing to. The next is creating your game plan, because you can have all of you can say, my habit is to drink more water. But if you have no plan, you're not going to be able to execute. You can say, I'm going to quit smoking. But if you have no plan, you're not going to be able to execute. So now what I want you to think about is scroll down on that notepad or get another piece of paper out and write down a plan. And remember, it takes more than 21 days for a habit to be built. It really takes closer to like 60 to 70 days now with how fast things are coming at us in the world. Our attention spans are so short. And when we start to do something and it gets hard or it gets boring, we're like, yeah, well, we're just going to do something else and we forget about it. So I want you to create a plan of over the month of March. So it is March 6th right now, or whenever you're watching this video, from now till the end of the month, this is your one habit focus. What is your plan? How are you going to incorporate this action, this habit into your everyday life? So if we're talking about water, water's just a really good one because we can see numbers, and I feel like it's a really easy one for all of us to understand. Drinking 50 ounces, goal is 90 ounces. Your habit for March is going to be, I am going to make sure that every day I am drinking 60 ounces for the next 7 days. If you do that consistently for 7 days, move it up to 70 ounces every single day. That right there is what we want to remember, is we're slowly building. Because if I tell you, okay, well, in March, now just start drinking 90, I'm setting you up for failure. So if you're at 50 and you want to be at 90 for the next week, focus on 60 ounces. If you do that every single day, track it. You can use Habit Share. It's a free app. You and I can talk and we can figure out how we can use My Coach together, which is our one-on-one coaching platform. Or get out a piece of paper, get out a calendar. Every day you do it, put a little star. Every day you don't do it, put an X. Once you do it consistently for 7 days, you can either keep doing that 60 ounces if you feel like you need a few more days, or slowly increase by 5 or 10 ounces until you get to that 90 ounces. That you may not hit that 90 ounces by the end of your 21 days or by the end of the month. That's okay. But we're slowly building up to it so that when we hit that 90 ounces, whether that is in April or May or the end of March, you have the habit built. And right there, you're retraining your brain in how we build habits. We're not going 0 to 100. So that is if you are using a habit that you want to grow on and get better at. If we're looking at that column two, and for instance, let's say your habit is Morgan, I eat out way too much during the week. Your action plan needs to look something like, how is that not going to happen? Well, we need to start looking at, can I start planning meals? Can I start having food on hand? What are some of those red flags on why we eat out? Is it because we haven't planned? Is it because we don't have food in the house? Is it because we have so many picky eaters in the house? There's a way to make it all work, but we have to start identifying those red flags and then start coming up with solutions. So I want you to write out your action plans. And if you did drop your habit in the comment below, I'm going to reach to you and I'm going to ask you what your action plan is. And I'm going to poke a few holes in it to make sure that you've got a solid action plan to move forward and be successful this month. And you can take this and you can rinse and repeat this cycle all the time. But the key is one habit at a time, rinse and repeat till you've got it down. And if you miss a day or you fall off the wagon or something doesn't go right, don't beat yourself up, acknowledge it, and move forward and restart. If it's breakfast and you're like, "Oh, I ate out, I wasn't going to eat out today." Okay, recommit to yourself that you're not going to eat out for lunch, not going to eat out for dinner. Have that plan in place. Maybe you go 5, 6, 7, 10, 15 days. Maybe you go to day 20, and then all of a sudden you break that and you're now eating, you had all your meals out that day. Well, why did that happen? Don't get down on yourself because you almost hit that 21 days. No. Why did it happen? And we're just going to start the next day and we're just going to restart. There's no shame in that. We are human. We make mistakes. We do really good and then we fall off, but then we shame ourselves and we beat ourselves down. I want you to look at it as a learning experience. What part of that plan did not work on that day? Because when that part of that plan did not work, that's why the ball was dropped. That's why we ran into that. I didn't drink my 70 ounces. It's because I didn't take my reusable water bottle with me. Just didn't happen. I did not take it out the door. Okay, well, how can I make a change for the next day? Okay, got to make sure I've got the water bottle. And if I can't have access to that, I'm going to make sure I go stop at a gas station and get a big water bottle. So planning for the failures, planning for the curveballs that life throws at you of, oh, we've got a sick kid. Okay, nothing's going to go according to plan today. How can we plan for that so we are not thrown off and that we are ready for it? So remember, drop what habit you are committing to in the comments. Once you drop it, I'll send you a message asking for your action plan. If you're already ahead of that, you can just take a picture or forward me your action plan, send it to me in a Facebook message, or send me an email, drop my email in the comments below. But this month, I want you to focus on either refining one of your habits you're already mastering or trying to decrease and get rid of a habit that you know is no longer serving you. So remember to tune in every Thursday to the Empower Her Wellness podcast on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Follow us on YouTube. Make sure, because this is where this training goes after. Facebook's going to be making some changes after these live broadcasts that I do the first of every month. What happens is after 30 days, Facebook is going to delete them. So if you know you really liked this training, you want to rinse and repeat, they are all stored on YouTube. Same exact titles. You can always go find them there on our YouTube channel. I'll make sure to drop that in the comments below as well. And if you have any questions at all, or you would like to learn how we can work together come spring and summer, I've got a Kickstart program as well as some one-on-one spots still open here as we are moving into that springtime. So just drop help in the comments below and I'll reach out and we'll set up a time to talk and create a plan. So until next time, have a great rest of your day.